Hello, thank you for joining me. Today we're going to have a quick look at the Minelab X Terra Elite menus and submenus. So let's get straight into it. Now, it's always good practice to factory reset this machine occasionally. I tend to do it every time I go out of it. And you do this by pressing that side button, the on-off button, when you switch it on, and hold it down and the words FP will come up. And that means you've factory resetted everything, so you're starting from a blank canvas. Just below that is your light, so you can turn the backlight on and then you'll see an icon appear. Power level down, icon off, and if you press and hold this button you will then activate the flashlight. And the button on the top right is to pair your headphones. At the top there we have the discrimination range. The blocks are the accepted range, the empty parts are the rejected range. This is our sensitivity gauge. Turn it down and the blocks go down. Turn it up and the blocks go up. Target ID in the centre. And in the middle is telling us what frequency we're on. At the moment we're using multi-IQ, but if we press this frequency button just here, we can switch to a single frequency, which is 15 kilohertz. There we go. So let's move on then. Along the bottom here we have our factory preset programs, and they're accessed using the coil icon. Park 1, Park 2, Field 1, Field 2, Beach 1, Beach 2. And you can slightly see those blocks moving as we're going through the factory programs because they're using different discrimination ranges. So Park 1 is a general all-round search, Park 2 is a slightly higher frequency, Field 1 is a general all-round search mode, Field 2 is a higher frequency, and you have the beach, medium and high frequencies. If we detect something iron, we'll get an iron tone. Non-ferrous will get a high tone. Now if we turn the horseshoe off, that's turned the iron tone off. There's no iron tone there, only a non-ferrous tone. So although it says all metal, it's not actually searching all metal, it's just turning the iron tone on or off. So let's deep dive into the settings. We press this cogwheel to select the features, and we can long press it to access the submenus. AU, now that's noise cancel. You're going to be using that quite a lot when you're out in the field because this is a multi-frequency machine and there's times where it'll pick up EMI, such as other detectors, electric pylons, things like that. There's always lots of EMI floating around, so you need to find the clear operating channel just to make this machine run smoothly. Now we can make it automatic by pressing the accept reject button. But if we want to force a noise cancel, just to make sure we get the exact frequency ranges, press and hold it, and you'll see a numbers coming up there. And when you get an average number, it's between 6 and 8, isn't it? But I think it's confident on 8. Just let go of it, and then that's your cleanest noise channel. But you might have to do this 2 or 3 times in a search. Lots of other machines about. First thing we're going to do now is do a noise cancel. That's all there is to it. Now here's a top tip here. If you want to get the best out of your noise cancel, why not turn the sensitivity up as high as you can get it, and that way you're introducing as much EMI as possible so the machine has a better chance of rejecting it. Let's move on one more. Ground balance. We tend not to ground balance here in the UK because we haven't got mineralised soil, but if you're overseas and your soil is highly mineralised, then you'll need to ground balance, and there's lots of information about that in your manual. One more. Now this is the volume. As you can see there, it's on 20, that's the speaker volume. If you go up to 25, that's the maximum speaker or headphone volume. But if you press and hold it, that's your iron tone volume. T1 is always referred to as your ferrous, your iron tone. So you can make your iron tone louder or quieter. So that's on 25, so the iron tone now matches our non-ferrous tone. One more. That's the threshold, so we can have a background threshold. So if you want a threshold when you're searching, just a slight hum in the background, that's how to do it. I think I'll turn it off just for this exercise. Hit the cogwheel. There's no sub menu with the threshold, by the way. Hit the cogwheel again, and now we're into the tones. We have a choice of 1 tone, 2 tones, 5 tones, all tones, and a DP, delta pitch. That's 1 tone, so we just have a single ID. 2 tones, we have a low for iron and a high for the non-ferrous. 5 tones, 1 more. All tones, now that's a multi-frequency tone, so we got lots and lots of different tones, and they're all on a sliding scale depending on their conductivity. So other machines call it a full tone. I quite like to use this one. All tones, why not? Let's give all tones a try. Oh, there's a nice one, coming up about 14. Well, it's inside his clod, and there it is, look, I can see it. It's a Roman coin. Excellent. What I will say is this iron, new multi-IQ Plus with the Minelabs are using, really seem to work well on Roman size. Whereas your delta pitch, nothing changes with the iron. Okay, let's move along one more. Notch, accept, reject. Now this is where you can manipulate these top bars by just using the cursor. You see the cursor moving along there, so if we wanted to accept that target ID range, we just hit that, move along, hit that, or likewise we can reject them. But this one has a sub menu, so if we press and hold the cogwheel, we can now manipulate it, so you can see their target ID 4 is rejected. We don't want to reject that because some good targets fall within that range. So I think accepting up to 0 is probably a good move. Move along one more. Sweep speed, recovery speed, that's how fast you want the machine to react, 1 to 3. It's got a sub menu, press and hold it again, and your ferrous adjustment, how much do you want the machine to break up that iron sound. If you get lots of iron cracks, the FE or iron bias is your man. So it goes from -1 up to 2. If you can run it at -1, you'll get the best operation. We've got 2 types of settings on this machine. We've got global settings and local settings. Now the global settings affect every single program once you've made an adjustment, and the local settings are only specific to that program you're working on. You can actually see what are the global settings when you go for the adjustments, because it lights up all 3. Global, 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 local, 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 local. Now if you've made adjustments to a program and you think you may have got it wrong, but you don't want to do a factory reset, you can do a program reset, and you can do that by entering the program, pressing and holding the coil icon for about 5 or 6 seconds, and then you'll see SP appear, and that's reset that particular program. Now I did have a nice script written out and it said something like, the X Terra Elite is a great way to dip your toe into the Minelab's multi-IQ, but at £500, just be prepared to outgrow it very, very quickly. And I'm not going to use that line because I don't think you'll outgrow it quickly. A lot of these mid-range machines, you buy them and then you upgrade really quickly because you understand that not having as many features can be a hindrance. But with this X Terra Elite, it seems to have everything there in the right place. Fiddleability, 10 out of 10, I have to say. So will I keep this machine in my armoury? Yeah, I will, because I now know I can confidently use it for coin shooting, confidently use it on a Roman site, and it does really, really well on the beach. Well, if this video has brought you any entertainment or value, why not like, subscribe, or even make a little comment? It'd be good to hear from you. And if you're thinking about making a purchase, why not go onto the Crawford's website using my affiliate code, and if I'm lucky, I may get a small bit of commission.